Hoi An, Vietnam. If you have been thinking of going to Vietnam and staying there for a longer time, I recommend you to consider Hoi An. And before I continue, a quick side note. This video, same like other videos on cities, FAQ videos as I like to call them, these are videos that I'm making for nomads, digital nomads, for people who are working remotely and going to some place to stay longer time. And also for people whom you could call long-term travelers, people who are, for example, working in Europe, working in summers and then spending winters, for example, in Southeast Asia. This video is for you. I want to talk about Hoi An and how well it works as a long-term place, as a place where to stay longer time, in my opinion. First, a quick overview. What is Hoi An? Hoi An is a small town, a touristy town, not far away from a bigger city, a very popular city, a very up-and-coming city, Da Nang. When we first came to Vietnam this year, we were thinking of staying in Da Nang for a whole month. Then we quickly realized that no, Da Nang doesn't really work for us. I'm gonna be making a separate video on Da Nang. But the thing is, we went to Hoi An to check out what is Hoi An like, and we like it more. The city is approximately a 30-minute car ride, a taxi ride away from Da Nang airport, and now in 2025 this taxi ride costs approximately 10 to 15 American dollars. Hoi An is not by the beach, it's by a river and it's inland, but it's not far away from the beach. To get to the beach from here it takes something like 10-15 minutes on a car or on a motorbike. It's a few kilometer distance only. And for those of you who are interested to be somewhere closer to the beach, I have great news, because it's also possible to stay somewhere there. There are some hotels, some guest houses by the beach. So yeah, so you can make a decision what works the best for you. You can stay in the town, on the outskirts of the town and between town and the beach, or by the beach. All options are good in my opinion, but the Hoi An I think is the best. Number 2, isn't it too busy in Hoi An? Yes, Hoi An gets very busy. Isn't it too busy? For me personally, it's okay, at least now in February, which is, as far as I know, not the top season, but still there are lots of people, and especially in the evenings, buses with tourists, crowds of tourists come to this city, to this town in the evenings. Lots of people on the streets, but still I like being here and I don't feel like it's too busy. And I think that the main thing is that it's a pretty spread out place. It's a pretty spread out town, and also the most central part, the historical part, the old part, it's big. There are many places where you can go to. There are many cafes, restaurants, guest houses, many smaller streets that you can also go to, and as a result it doesn't feel too busy, too overwhelmingly busy. Yes, it's super busy on the main streets in the evenings, but you can always escape that if you don't want to be there. For example, right now we are staying at a hotel right next to the old town, and it feels perfect. In a minute we can be between hundreds or thousands of people. A minute in another direction and we are on a quiet street, and here, staying here, I'll talk more about the best place where to stay in a moment. And what's interesting, that staying here a minute away from the old town, from all these people, we have been feeling like it's calmer, quieter and more peaceful than it was in between Hoi An and the beach where we spent the last week. You must expect crowds here, but it's avoidable. You can get away from them, and pretty easily. Number 3, where to stay in Hoi An? In my opinion, one of the, if not the best place where to stay, and also for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe more, is on the outskirts of the old town. For example, we stay, like I said, just a minute away from the old town, and it's nice here. And there are several such options where you can stay on the outer side of the old town. At the same time, if you are looking for a more peaceful stay, like I said, you can also stay in between from Hoi An and the beach or by the beach. The part which is in between, which is where you can be surrounded by rice fields, I think might be the best place for those of you who are looking for the most quietest experience. But still, you should remember that you are in Vietnam, and even here, even though we have been having this peaceful, nice, quiet experience for the past 7 days, even here, at some point, we always know that someone can start singing karaoke, and at 8 p.m. it's gonna be loud for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. It's a possibility. Okay, maybe not for 3 hours starting from 8, but it's always possibility that for a few hours at some point during the day it's gonna be louder. And the same goes also for the quieter areas in the rice fields. You can be staying there, enjoying the peaceful place, and then, I don't know, motorbikes are passing by, a few of them, and like beep, 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 beeping. That's something you must and have to expect more or less everywhere in Vietnam, in my experience, in those 4 times that I have been to Vietnam. Number 4, what about everyday things? Food, groceries, gyms, things to do, places where to go, for example, to sit down with your laptop and do some work. Food. Lots of options, great food, both local and international. Many options where to go for a good coffee. Next, groceries. Situation here is a bit worse than in Da Nang in my experience so far. In Da Nang it was, in my opinion, bad. Here it's a bit worse. All I have seen is small convenience stores. They don't really have too much of a choice what you can buy there. They're all right. It's better than living between the town and the beach. Here it's better, but don't expect much in that regard. Gyms. We went to a few and we're thinking that okay, so they are okay, like 4 out of 10. And then we went to this place. I'll put the name on the screen, which is new, which has AC, and which is just overall just a nice place to be. And I would even consider and would change my routine and go at different times to that place, because it's worth it. It's a place which is better than others, and it's a nice thing to know that there is such a place. Those times when we went there, it wasn't crowded or busy. So maybe it's never busy, I don't know. Those other places were more busy and significantly worse, with older equipment, no AC, dirtier, yeah. But this one, a big thumbs up. Maybe there is also another similar, or maybe a few of them, I don't know. We haven't checked all of them here. Next, when it comes to things to do, I think the coolest thing is that the town itself is so beautiful, impressive, such a pleasant place to be, walk around, do things here. There are also some day trip options that you can do from Hoi An. You can also easily rent a bicycle and go cycling. You can rent a motorbike and go motorbiking. Beautiful sites are nearby. A nice thing about this town is that it's kinda like on islands. There are several, let's call them islands. I don't know what to call them otherwise. And you can, from where I am right now, in a few minutes on a bicycle, be in an area which is like a different world, like a rural area where you feel like in a small village in Vietnam. Amazing thing. I recommend also that island, the nearest one, for example running. I have been going there for runs, and then there's also the beach, which is not that far away. Number 5, I touched on this a bit already. What about food? In short, food in Hoi An is great. Local food is great. Street food is great. Prices are great. International food, the newer, fancier food that we have tried is great. For example, that Greek place that we have been going to a few times, it's amazing. And also, if you are looking for nicer restaurants, there are many options. Prices still very, very good. Thanks to Grab app, you can get also food delivered to your place, starting from something like 10, 15, 20 minutes and for only an extra $1 or $2. And probably the biggest thing that I will miss about Hoi An: cafes, coffee shops. So many different options, so many nice places, so many simple places, so many places offering some fancy, cool, interesting coffee drinks. And not only coffee drinks, they also often offer juices, smoothies, juices. Also, very, very good juices. Also, if I'm comparing, for example, to Thailand, Vietnam, here, Hoi An is better at it than many places in Thailand, for example. And yes, of course, if you are from Europe and you are used to good bread, you will like it here. Vietnam has good bread, and in Hoi An you can also go get the sourdough bread. Amazing. Number 6, prices. What are the prices in Hoi An? So the basics. Accommodation. You can get a nice, comfortable, clean, modern room for starting from $15 a night, maybe 12, maybe 13, $15 for sure. So that means something like 450 up to 500 a month. If you are looking for a longer stay, and if you reach out to places, if you go to places, speak to people, maybe you will get better deals. I'm lazy at that, and I have also been very unsuccessful with that, so I don't really do that, but you can probably try it here. Next thing, food. Like I mentioned, food is affordable. Many options to try for and have for $2, $3. Many options to get for higher prices. And there are also cheaper local food options. You can get a meal also for like $1.30. It's possible in Hoi An. Next, getting around. You can get a taxi easily. Grab app is working here. You can get Grab motorbike or Grab car. You can rent a bicycle, like I already mentioned, for $1 or $2 a day, or you may also be getting a free bicycle from your hotel. Some hotels here are offering that. For example, that one place where we were staying, they were offering free bicycles. It was a place between Hoi An and the beach. Motorbike, few dollars a day, and you have a motorbike for a day. Number 7. What is the weather like in Hoi An? At the moment, I have had experience with Hoi An only in February, and in February it's not the best. It's cloudy, it's quite gray on most days. It can be sunny, it can be hot, and maybe too hot for some, but overall it's cloudy, around plus 20 degrees. Many will say that it's the best temperature, the best weather for sightseeing, for walking around, for doing things outside. I would like it to be more sunny. If that works for you, you'll have to decide yourself. That's it in short on Hoi An. It's an amazing place that I would return again. See you soon.